folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas, with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have Bert Brown. He is a Las Vegas City Municipal Court Judge representing Department 4, although it doesn't really matter because anywhere in Las Vegas is his jurisdiction. But he's in Department 4. But before we get to Judge Brown, Jim, you have anything?
No. I honestly don't. I think you were right, Steve.
About?
Since I left that other job.
Feel better now, right?
Yeah, not quite as stressed out. Don't need to rant about stuff.
So sometimes you got to go into those uncomfortable places so you can.
I'm going through some growing pains, but I'm not going to share that with the viewers and listeners.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I need to deal with. That's not something that viewers and listeners need to know about. So
we have Judge Brown. Judge, tell us about yourself.
Good morning. Judge Bert Brown.
Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm with the Las Vegas Municipal Court. Have been there for 22 years.
Ooh, that's a long time.
That is a long time. First ran in 1999 and have been elected ever since. And so I'm actually up for re-election. This is my fifth run at it. Fifth.
Okay.
So I'm a long time, as I told Jeff, I'm a long time Las Vegan. Even though I wasn't born here, I was born in D.C. when Dad was finishing up his school. Okay. If you don't have to be born here, I'm a fifth generation Las Vegan. Okay. My great-great-grandfather is first doctor in Las Vegas, Hallie Hewitson. Okay. There's a school named after him. There's actually a school named after Grandpa, too, the Milan Brown Junior High in Henderson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just a long time Las Vegan and Municipal Court Judge. I was in private practice before that for 11 years. Went to UNR and law school at McGeorge in Sacramento. Okay. What else do you want to know?
Tell us about your time on the bench.
Okay.
What's the craziest thing you've seen? You've been there 22 years. I'm sure you've seen a lot of crazy things.
I can't tell that on the video.
Yeah, but how long is this show going to go? I'm sure 22
So,
years.
I mean, as you know, my jurisdiction is misdemeanors.
Right.
Okay, so that's crime is punishable up to 6 months of jail, up to $1,000 fine. Okay. That's the criminal. There's a very small civil portion of it as well, dealing with maybe nuisances in the city of Las Vegas or city debts and things like that. But we really don't deal much with that. So the misdemeanor crimes, it's a crime of, it's not the bigger offenses, but it's the quantity. So we do a lot of cases, and we just go through it.
So you were the chief judge. Are you still the chief judge?
I am the chief judge. I'll be the chief judge.
Chief judge again?
Correct.
How many times have you been the chief judge?
This is my third time.
Oh, okay. So what does a chief judge do? Boss people around? What?
I wouldn't like to put it that way, but I mean, we deal with administrative issues, and so we handle a full calendar, but we also deal with administrative issues. I meet with our court administrator once a week, if not more, if there's something that comes up, and just deal with issues that come about, dealing with the city council, our budgetary issues, can be administrative policies. Each judge typically handles his or her own calendar and gets to run the courtroom as his or her own kingdom, so to speak. But otherwise, the greater picture, of how things are run does come across my desk.
Okay. So you guys have all these specialty courts. Do you know them all? And
I do.
Which ones are you personally in charge of?
I have the HOPE Court program, Habitual Offenders Prevention Education. It deals with people that are in the system a lot. Okay, so
they just don't know how to say no.
Well, so and this population is a tough population, right? And so they're high risk, high need individuals. Substance abuse it's got to be there. Mm-hmm. They have to have at least 25 entries in the system, whether it's in the state of Nevada or somewhere else. They have to have at least 2 cases open, 2 separate events, so that we can have, as I just stated, 6 months is the maximum jurisdiction we have over a case. So we have to have 2 separate offenses, 2 separate events, so that we can have 2 6-month punishments hanging over their head. Our folks are they're used to the system, they're used to being in the system, and if they say, you know what, I can just do 6 months and be done with you, Judge Brown, they can do that. So if you have 2 of those, a year's worth of jail hanging over your head makes it a little bit more difficult to make that call.
Right.
So we have a year's worth of jail hanging over the head. It's typically for up to a 2-year period. We have people that, sail through it, and it can be done in 18 months. But these are the folks that have substance abuse for sometimes decades. And, getting them out of that cycle is very difficult. And sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes it takes a few incarcerations. But at the end, hopefully they become a successful and contributing member of society is the plan.
When was the last time you toured the City of Las Vegas Detention Center?
Probably 5 years ago.
You thinking about going back and get a little refresher?
Do I need to? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, you put people there.
I do. No, and every so often, you go back and you check it out, and so I have a pretty good understanding. I've toured it probably 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that facility? Do you think that it's up to par? Have you heard any negative feedback?
Sometimes, you hear of things and you go and you talk about it and they go, oh, well, we got an issue here. And they said, this is how we're going to fix it. And they typically do. So it's typically, I believe, a good facility. As far as incarcerating goes, if you're ever incarcerated, it's never a good facility. I mean, your freedom is taken away. It's right.
Unless I'm punished to my room.
It's not supposed to be Club Med necessarily, but as long as it's humane and
If I was on house arrest, I'll be fine.
Of course. So
no facility for me. So tell us about the other specialty courts.
So there's Department 1. Judge Leong has Win Court, Women in Need. I actually started that program, however many years ago that was, and I did it for about a year. So these are women with trauma that and substance abuse, but basically the number one underlying issue is they had some major trauma in their life.
Right.
And after a year, I realized it should be done by a woman judge, and she was up to the plate, and she took off with it running, and done some really neat things. And they actually had a double graduation this Thursday, and it's pretty neat. So that's so Judge Leong handles.
We got Hope, we got Win,
and then Department 2 is DUI court.
DUI.
Yep, and that's handled by Judge Roger, and these are folks that have significant. Driving and drinking and driving issues, and so whether they've got very high BACs while driving or they've multiple, it's a very intensive program and it takes a lot, and hopefully we'll change the.
Is marijuana part of that DUI?
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there a lot of that going around? The marijuana and
driving,
is
yes,
or just drinking and driving?
No, it's all there, but the marijuana is a little bit more difficult to prove, and whether or not you're impaired, and so
because it stays in your system.
It does, and
but you're not high.
so that's the question, right? And so, but
how do they defeat?
So you go through your FSTs, your field sobriety test, and there's indications there, and then if you fail those, then you take the next step, and you either do you do the blood test. The breath is just for alcohol, and then you get your levels, and you can tell whether or not. So
could you tell if they're impaired then, or they just have it in their system, but they're not impaired?
Yes, you should. I mean, so you get two different levels, whether the metabolites in your system and the active ingredient, and if the active ingredient is high enough, you're impaired. So
okay. So Judge Brown, 22 years on the bench.
You now want to talk about the other specialty courts?
Yeah. Oh, please go to the other specialty courts.
That's Department 2. Department 3, Judge Campbell has the mental health court.
Okay.
And they have to have a diagnosis, and they help change people's lives and get them, on medication and their services. Department 5 is Judge Kearns. He has his youth offender program dealing with folks that are under the age of 23 or younger. And then Department 6, come on, Veterans Court. So, and Judge Marty Hastings handled that. And as you know, Monday is his last day.
Is it Monday?
It is Monday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Monday.
Yep.
He's retiring out.
He's retiring out.
Early.
And so we have...
Early?
Yes, he is.
He's going to have a vacancy.
He is. He's already planning his vacation. He says 1 week he's going to the beach.
So city council is going to fill that vacancy?
They did.
Who they filled it with?
Shannon Nordstrom, our hearing commissioner. So she's going to handle it
that name is familiar.
Just until the election is over.
So who's going to handle the veterans treatment program?
Right now, it's going to be Shannon Nordstrom. She's going to handle it until And then there's no plans for otherwise, but whoever, right now it's for whoever's in Department 6.
So being the chief judge, are you going to move things around? Or?
There's no plans for that at this time.
Okay.
There were some staffs that had, well, maybe there's no plans at this juncture.
So we got all the specialty courts out.
Oh, except we have Fresh Start that is handled by Commissioner Nordstrom, dealing with folks that are homeless and have issues, and tries to get them to the facilities and services. And then we also have in the works now PST psychological.
Who's doing that one? We ran out of judges.
I know. We're working on that, and there's funding that's coming, and don't know exactly where it is in the process. But then we potentially a part-time commissioner, so we're still working on those details.
So you've been on. So we got done with the specialty court.
Yes.
Okay. So you've been on the bench 22 years.
Correct.
So
coming up 23 years. Yes.
Coming up 23 years. So how come you're not running for something like justice or
I have
district?
The best job in the world. I have a great job.
Why does everybody say that? I could be a dog catcher and I have them over here be like, oh, I have the best job in the world.
But everybody that is, if they're in their job and they enjoy what they do, you try to and do the best job you can do. It is the best job for that person. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about the Hope Court. I believe I save lives. Right.
Right.
And so when you see that and you see the people that are successful, it makes the job worthwhile.
So do you remember when you guys moved into the new RJC?
Okay.
And the Supreme Court was there, and the whole selling point of the new RJC was one-stop shop. One-stop shop. You got Supreme Court, you got Justice, you got District, you got Muni. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's going their own way.
Yes.
So you guys got a brand new courthouse.
Yes,
Tell us about it.
So it's a 140,000 square foot building. And I think you were at the swearing in, weren't you? Weren't you?
I was.
You were.
I kind of snuck in.
You did, but that's okay. So there were certain people that got a challenge coin, and you were there, and I think you deserved one too.
Oh, thank you.
So did you get one?
No, I didn't get a challenge coin.
But you now have one. That's from the grand opening of the Las Vegas Municipal Court.
I now have a challenge coin.
All right. So it costs $56 million. And so the county bought us out, and whatever magic that the city and county did was able to build this new building, wonderful building. Okay. 4 floors if you don't include the basement garage. Okay. It handles all of our 6 criminal departments and our hearing commissioner that deals with traffic and the specialty court, Fresh Start. It's nice. Okay. It's nice being in our own facility that doesn't have elevator issues, as you know.
Right. So it doesn't have elevators?
Issues.
Oh, I know it have elevators.
I know. The RJC has some elevator issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I got stuck in one once.
So
voluntarily, though, I wasn't there for
it. Jim's the guy. He steps up, right?
Yeah.
So you say this is the best job in the world for you.
Right.
Is that why you were running for re-election?
Yes. Yep.
And what are your plans?
Well, plans for, it's another 6-year term. This is my last time.
You're done?
I'm done. So I'm soon to be 60.
Okay.
I love the people I work with. I love the job that I do.
Would you do anything different?
Oh, we always do. We always look at things. Somebody comes up with an idea, and so this PST, psychological stabilization treatment, it's the combined idea of a city attorney, Matt Walker, and Judge Cedric Kearns, and they came up with, we got a lot of people that have some severe mental health issues coming in through our courts, and so they came up, we need something to get these folks stabilized so we can get them housing and get them services, and so that's their idea. And so, you know what, it made sense, and going forward with it. So there's always new things. All these specialty courts, there were none of these specialty courts when I started at Las Vegas Muni. Judge Kearns started.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, Judge Kearns started Hope Court 17 years ago. And then as we, then Wynn Court, then, mental health court. So, people come up with all these ideas, and now every department has a specialty court, which we did not have, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago.
You got more specialty courts than judges.
We're working on it. Because they do such...
Are you planning to get more Muni judges on the bench? Is Las Vegas growing that we need another department? Talk to me.
Well, there was a time I went back to Mayor Oscar Goodman, and I said, Mayor, I want to come with you because we need another judge. He said, well, I'll always talk. And so we did the study, everything we had, and like, yeah, the numbers suggest it. And then the recession hit. Psh. He's like, Bert, don't have the money. And we go, okay. And so it always comes in, waves and whatever. And could we use another one? I think we're okay right now. Because if you have more time, what do? You can spend more time. As you know, specialty courts take a lot of time. It takes a lot of individual treatment. And so if we have less cases, we usually, as you now see, we have 6, 7, potentially 8 different specialty courts. So if the city council said, you know what, we want more specialty courts, sure, but it's going to take more resources and then therefore more departments. If they said, you need less judges, we go, okay, well then you're going to miss out on some of these specialty courts. I mean, it's just whatever resources you have, you can say, all right, we can do X, Y, Z with it. So
I talked to your former colleague last week.
Which one?
Judge George Assad.
Okay. How's George doing?
He's doing great.
Good.
He's doing great. I was talking a little bit about the court, and then we started getting into a different conversation.
So he's now with the Nevada Transportation?
No, he's not even with that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know we didn't get to what he's doing now.
Okay.
So
just real quick, it's just a quick question. Mm-hmm. I've and Steve and I have went back and forth on this, and for years, and I think we've kind of met a middle ground. So electing judges.
Okay.
Now, so just an honest question for you. First off, I do appreciate you very much for coming on. But if judges were not elected in this state, which is law, okay, and I'm not asking whether you support it or not, it's the law. Would you take the time to come on shows like this and answer these questions? And
I would.
Okay. And then what would the court do to reach out? Because everything you just said, like you explain a lot to do with how Justice Court and the City Council have to work together. That's something I never even honestly knew. Mm-hmm. So that's good information for the public to know. So I just wanted to, for one, say that maybe that is a positive for judges being elected.
It is, and I mean, there's 2 sides, and there's pros and cons in both. Mr. Raggio, Senator Raggio, actually tried to get on the ballot. He did it. It was actually on the ballot to have judges do a retention ballot, and the public didn't want it. The public turned it down. So that's the big hurdle, right? It's in the Constitution, and you have to get the majority of public in whatever 2 sessions. But it didn't pass the first, I believe. So you have to get over that hurdle. There are pros and cons to both ways. Like you talked about, having election, it requires the person to get up and meet the constituents. You have to go out and shake hands and see the issues. And when I first started this job, I didn't know half the issues we're talking about. Here I am. I've got my private practice, and I decided to run for judge. And so I'm sitting with my dad, and we sit down, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm sitting down with you, Dad. What's going on? He says, like, there are 4 voters over there. I'm like, yeah. And so he says, you need to introduce yourself and tell them about it. And so I get up there and basically get out of my shell, which I wasn't comfortable. But it's what you do. You get up there, shake, hi, Bert Brown, I'm running for judge. And so it makes you do that. And it is part of the process, and it is a positive to that. On the other side, though, if we had retention of judges, I still think that would be a requirement, because if you get an opponent, the typical model, the Missouri model is everybody sits up for retention, and it's either thumbs up or thumbs down. Well, you want people to give you a thumbs up, right? So you still go out there and you shake your hand. So I think it'd be with both systems.
Okay, because there's a huge debate on whether judges should be elected or not.
And
And because they're concerned about, like and I'm not going to name the judges, basically justice court, that when I see invitations for meet and greets with them, there's literally like almost 100 attorneys that are sponsoring their event. And it's like, the cynicism in me goes, oh, okay, a lot of attorneys think they're a good judge, cool, but how much influence are these attorneys trying to put on this specific judge?
That's a legitimate issue.
Yeah.
It's the process. I mean, and so you're seeing, the committee list is what you're talking about, right?
The committee list.
There's a lot of folks on it, and it just shows the support. And so part of the process that these potential judges are showing is, look, I have a lot of support. And so right now we are in pre-filing period. And so any potential opponent out there, they want...
Right. They're basically saying, hey, bud, you better think twice before you run against me because I got all this backing.
That is the theory, correct.
Yeah.
And the legislature, we were supposed to be not having that this cycle, but the legislature, because of redistricting, moved our filing period. There was an agreement between the judiciary and the legislature to have the filings in January for judicial offices, and therefore you couldn't raise money, you couldn't do anything until you had an opponent, and then that got rid of that thing that you're talking about there. But because the officials that redistricting, whoever takes the filings for whatever, they all complained and they wanted the filings to be done at the same time as all the other offices. But if you do that, then the time period from filing to the time period of early voting is so short. And the legislature was warned, if you do that, they're going to have to open up and they're going to have to be able to raise money and everything else. But the legislature still said, no, we need to have them file in March like everybody else. And
that's because of redistricting.
Well, correct. Yeah.
But it won't be like that the next time.
Correct. And the rule is that after filing closes, it will go back to the old way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We had a bill in the last session called Remove or Retain of judges.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
But it didn't make it out of committee.
Okay.
But it's going to come back out again next session. So if an incumbent makes it to the general election, the public has an opportunity to remove or retain that judge. So if remove gets more votes than retain, then seats vacated, Judicial Selection Committee comes in, takes applications, that person, 3 names sent to the governor picks, and then that person runs for retention.
Sounds like the Missouri plan.
Yeah, kind of like, because a lot of attorneys don't want to run against judges because they don't like the backlash, because the animosity comes in. We're all human, right?
Yeah. Correct.
You running against me?
Yes.
Oh shit, your case dismissed.
Nice.
Your case is dismissed. Go away. So, you love the bench.
I do.
But you don't think about running for anything other than judge.
No, I haven't thought about it yet.
Congress.
But oh, no. You heard Shelley right here before.
She loved Congress.
She did. But how often did she have to run? Every 2 years. So she was constantly running. And
that's why I brought that up to her. I was like, that needs to, that's a little much.
That is a bit much. But, no. Once every 6 years, okay by me.
So your last...
It's my last shot.
Your last 6 years, right?
Correct.
So your last 6 years, you're probably going to get it. We had a power surge. Jim didn't pay the last energy bill. So your last 6 years, what do you plan to do? You plan to do something differently than you haven't been doing for the past 22 years, or you plan to do more of the same?
A lot of the same. There's nothing in the works at this time, but we're always looking and we're always changing things up. So there's nothing in the plans right now. Right now, I'm focused on re-election, and that takes a lot of time. So if all the creative juices were working, I might be able to spend it thinking about other things. But right now, I'm just getting attention's on getting reelected. And
how many seats are up?
3.
3. Who seats?
Myself, Department 1 and Department 6.
So one is Judge Leon.
Correct.
And 6 is Martin Hastings?
Correct.
So do you hear of any more retirements coming down the pipeline on the
For
bench?
us, no.
Okay. So everybody's pretty much solid there.
That's my belief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you wanted to?
No. I got whatever. If you want to talk about jury trials, if you want to talk about,
you got your little notes.
I did, just in case. So we're going to start jury trials.
Okay.
And my first jury trial
without the mask or with the mask?
We just brought down the rule. We will not have masks, but we reference to how the jury trials. That's going to be each individual department.
Okay.
We need to make sure there's enough spacing in between folks. So,
okay.
All of us for domestic violence charges, we're going to be having jury trials starting next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else you got?
You want to talk? Since I'm up for re-election, want to talk about my RJ ratings?
Sure.
I have a 92% retention rating from the attorneys that appear in front of me. And I'm the highest. They have a weighted summary score, the highest rated 4.6 out of 5 of the judges in Clark County.
The highest.
The highest. Go look.
Do you think that these RJ ratings, because you don't know who's saying what? Do you think it's more of you think it's biased?
I like it.
Of course,
I like it. So no.
That's my favorite poll ever.
No, it's not biased. I was overseeing every single vote.
No, I don't. And as you know, it's all anonymous. So they come out with some comments, and I get some comments. Everybody gets comments,
right?
Positive, negative. And you see those like, oh, that wasn't nice.
What was your worst negative comment?
I don't remember.
I remember.
No, I don't actually. But so last ones were in 2020. But I see them. It's like I think that's wrong. But everybody gets comments. Every judge gets negative comments. It's just the nature of the beast. So if somebody is angry at a judge, they can put that in there. We don't know who it's from.
Okay.
So,
and see, that's what I don't like about it. You need to put your name to your comments.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
I know.
Yeah. No, and yeah, that's kind of one of those things when it comes to the polls. It's like, okay, if the judge votes in my, rules in my favor, my favorite judge ever.
Right.
If the judge
on the other side, you rule against somebody, and somebody hates them, right? So it's like, which way? So anyway,
what else do you have in that paper?
Yeah, that's about it. Re-election. I'm on the Judicial Council.
What does the Judicial Council do?
So that we oversee the judiciary as a whole, like general policies of the whole state judiciary. If it's not something that comes directly from the Supreme Court, Judicial Council kind of sets policy for the state as a whole.
So is the policy that they set, does it trump any state or federal laws?
No. So we work within the confines of whatever state or federal laws are there.
Okay.
But there's certain policy in reference to you talk about capacities during COVID. What should people do? And that was left to all the different jurisdictions because everybody has their own different situations going on. Protective orders, how do we deal with that as a whole, and how that should be served and how that is retained, and just a whole bunch of different issues.
So when you do protective orders, is it based on hearsay or you have to?
That's all. Now, as you know,
evidence.
I would hope it would be evidence, but that's in either the Justice Court or the Family Court, and you're very busy in Family Court, aren't you?
A little bit.
So I finally, Steve had been asking me for years, and shame on me because I was my work schedule wouldn't allow it. He's been asking me to do court observing for a long time. So I had time and walked in there. Every single person knew who Steve was.
Oh yeah.
Every single one of them.
That's a bad thing, huh?
I'm not saying it was all positive reactions. I'm just saying they all knew it was. So
you've come and watched me before. It's been a while, but
several times.
Yeah,
yeah. Sometimes I send people to go watch you.
Okay, and what do they say?
They say you suck. No, No, they say you do your job pretty good. Right. Yeah, they don't have any. I haven't really heard. There was one time I heard some scuttlebutt about you years ago, but
we talked about it.
Yeah, I didn't really pay any attention. So I kind of like left it alone because I felt that it was some type of bias stuff that was trying to make you look bad. But
somebody was angry at something I did or thought I did. So, and which was, if I'm correct, they were incorrect. But that's when you do what you do and you make a lot of decisions, I mean, hundreds of decisions a day, you're going to piss some people off.
Of course.
And so
it's the nature of the beast, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So your family's on board?
Yes, they are.
And how many kids you got?
Two girls.
2 girls.
Allie and Hannah. One's off in school in Atlanta. The other one's off in school in Indiana.
So you're an empty nester.
I am.
Any grandkids?
Nope. Okay. They're too young. 22 and 20.
Oh, they're not too young.
Yeah, well.
All right, Daddy.
Yes, they are.
He's like, those are my 2 girls. They're too, if I say they're too young, they're too damn young.
Yeah. Yep.
So, did we cover everything?
Yeah, we did. That's about it. Okay. Unless there's something else you want to ask.
No, I think we're pretty much covered everything. You have an opponent, by the way?
Not as of yet.
You probably won't get one.
We'll see.
No, I don't think you'll get one. People are too busy with the justice of the peace seats.
There's some people popping up in there. So
and there's some district court seats.
There are, and there's the appellate courts, and there's 2 Supremes, and so it's it's busy.
I think they're going to bypass you this year. They're going to give you a free ride. He's like,
I'm working hard. I'm working hard. I'm going to, talking to you, going to events.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Okay. Yep. So, Jim, you have anything else for Judge Brown?
No, other than just thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's very informative. Okay. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate that too. Thank you.
So Judge Brown, could you look into the camera and tell anybody that wants to put their name in your race, they better not.
I'm not going to say that, but
tell them, Judge. Here.
I have a mallet on my bench, and I've never used it.
Really? You want to.
No, it takes too long. It takes too long. If you need to get control in your courtroom, reaching over and grabbing and doing that, where the voice is a lot quicker.
All right. So, all right. Let's hear that voice when you settle down.
Nope. Sit down. I'll yell, sit down. Be careful what your next words out of your mouth might get you in jail. Be careful. Things like that. So
scary.
No. The only thing I'd say is look at my website, look at what I've done, check out the ratings, why I've got the ratings. Check out judgebertbrown.com.
Okay. Oh. So Mark is going to zoom in on you.
Oh, I see. So
and then
you got to repeat this?
Tell folks why they should go to the voting booth and vote for you.
Okay.
And your point of contact.
My point of contact. So my point of contact is, are we ready? My point of contact, you can check me out at judgebertbrown.com. I am up for re-election. This is my 5th time up for re-election. I've been on the bench for almost 23 years. You can check out why I deserve to be re-elected. I'm the highest rated on the RJ polls for the weighted summary score, and my retention rating is 92%, which means 92% of these attorneys that appear in front of me think I should be retained, which is, as you know, is fairly high. So I appreciate your vote when it comes in either primary and or general. And if I don't have an opponent, you won't get that opportunity.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, Judge Bert Brown, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's been real.
I appreciate it.
It's been real.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Sir.
I appreciate it.
Keep doing what you're doing on the bench.
Thank you.
Folks, this is Steve Sanson, Jim Jones for Veterans in Politics. That was Judge Bert Brown, who is the Las Vegas Municipal Court Judge for Department Number 4. Until next time.